All right. So if we have a limit as x goes towards some number c of a function being multiplied by a constant, b is some constant. I'll show you examples of each one of these. You can pull the constant out and then do the limit of the function by itself. Okay? So sometimes that'll make it easier. So a straightforward example of this would be the limit as x goes to 2 of 3x squared. I can pull the 3 out, although in this case it doesn't really matter in terms of simplicity, and then just do the limit of x squared and multiply by my answer by 3, which is going to be 3 times 2 squared, which is 12. So constants can be pulled inside and outside of a limit. This actually shows up because it's a limit property. When we get into the derivatives and things like that, which is based around limits, we can then pull constants inside and out of that as well, and integrals as well, because of this limit property. And those are all sort of variations of a limit, or sort of. Same thing, if you're adding and subtracting two functions, you can break it into the limits of each individual function. And do each one of those separately and then add or subtract your answers. So an example would be this. We'll use another quadratic. If I didn't want to do the limit of 4x squared plus 2x as x goes to 1, I could rewrite it as each individual limit. And then plug in the numbers. So that would give me 4 plus 2, which is 6. I mean, that's an overly simplified one, but you can see. When we get into the trig stuff, that's when this really starts to have value, because you can break it into separate bits. All right. If you're multiplying, again, break it into the separate functions. So if I have, I don't know, limit as x goes to pi of x plus 2 times sine x, some sort of weird function, I can break that into the limit as x goes to pi of x plus 2 times the limit as x goes to pi of sine. What's the answer? So you'd plug it in, you'd get pi plus 2 times sine of pi. What's sine of pi? 0, right? Sine of 180 is 0. So the answer is 0. And two more examples. Division is just a form of multiplication, essentially. So instead of doing the whole thing, you can just do the limit of f of x as x goes to c over the limit as x goes to c of g of x. And then the last one, the limit as x goes to c of f of x to some exponent. You can make your life easier by doing the limit of the function and then raising your whole answer to the exponent. All right. You should know those. I'll write them on the board if we need them, but most of them are fairly straightforward, and we're going to use a lot of them when we do trig stuff. So just to practice doing those, let's do page 67, 37, and 39. Before we start the trig stuff, who would like a trig identity sheet? Who from my class has their trig identity sheet? Oh my gosh. All right. I'll photocopy them for everybody. You threw everything out.